Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here to watch some Gundam 00. Before we get started today, let's go ahead and go over our newest community poll. This time around, it's going to be a nice big universal collision. Different anime universes colliding, creating a grand crossover event, and you have to choose who you're going to join forces with 4 teams from 8 different iconic animes. So our poll was, which team would you choose to be a part of on this adventure? And given our little random dice rolls here, we ended up with Team Abyss Saga, which is Nanachi from Made in Abyss and Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. One is a tiny rabbit who can navigate the abyss, and the other one is a Viking who is given up stabbing people.
I appreciate you asked me it before. Should I just read this out? And I said, yeah, do whatever you want. And you
Ah, now
decided
I'm
to
doing
still,
whatever I want.
yeah, you decided to still add a sentence, but your sentences are a lot less flattering than the default ones.
I find it, I'm having fun with it.
Sure.
So that's team number
Assumedly, the
one.
people who voted read this already themselves.
Next up, we have Team Full Metal Psycho, where we have Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist and Mob from Mob Psycho 100, the shortest team we could assemble, and also probably the youngest. Well, collectively. I think basically they're both middle school age, aren't they? I'm pretty sure Ed's like 14.
I don't know how old it is, so I
I don't
never
think
thought
they
about
ever
it.
actually definitively say at any point. I think that's the thing.
Well, since Ed eventually gets married, one would assume 16 to 17 at the outside.
He gets older eventually, the story goes on. But next we have Team Chainsaw Lord with Ein Zalgoon from Overlord, the impossibly overpowered, never losing skeleton lich lord of his series, and Denji from Chainsaw Man, the completely brain dead chainsaw assassin. Is there a better way to put that?
Well, there is one already written for you.
Nah. I mean, if you've been here, if you've existed in the last year, you know who Denji is. I don't need to introduce him more. But then we also have Team Gundam Gear, where we have Tsubasa Kanazari from Simple Gear, the leader and primary brawler of that series, and Setsuna F. Seiya from Gundam 00. You're watching that today. And honestly, if you're watching it, you know exactly who he is. He is our favorite little stoic in the most powerful Gundam we could possibly imagine. So, 4 teams, 8 characters, and we gotta choose who we're going along with. And I guess as always, I'll have to choose first.
Yep.
So, what am I going to choose? This is technically a mixing of the worlds. And you know what I'm thinking is the absolute most problematic bit of all of it?
Problematic? Sure, hit me.
Oh, the biggest problem everyone will have to deal with is that there's some abyss rules in play, and if it's a if you go up, you die kind of rule set, one character knows about it. A lot of them are not going to be very happy.
No. There's only one team would have to deal with that.
Well, I assume all of them are in a crossover event in like a world mixture kind of thing, right? So all of them would have to deal with each other's problems.
No, all of them are in a crossover event with the 2 crossovers apiece. Abyss Saga is just Vinland Saga and Made in Abyss. That's their crossover.
Oh, I
Each
thought they
is
were
an
all together.
No, each is an individual crossover. So what do you think the best crossover would be?
There you go. Thanks for that. In that case, that makes it slightly easier because now I'm choosing which world's the best world, or maybe who's the most fun to hang out with.
You think the
Uh,
best crossover would be a best world scenario?
I mean, technically, if I have to go there, I want to be someplace that's fun, right? Do I want to be in the most depressing universe possible, or do I want to be in the happiest one?
Alright, I feel like we're gonna get a huge loophole coming, right? Like, what fantasy, not fantasy, which fictional world do you want to go in? Oh, I want to go Star Trek. That way I can go in the holodeck and I can go to any other fantasy world I want. You fucking loopholer. Alright, let's hear what you got.
All right, yeah, no, I'm choosing Star Trek. Actually, I think what I'm gonna choose is Team Chainsaw Lord. And here's my reasoning. Both Ainz and Denji are actually very easy to talk to people. Or at least they'd be the on the top tier of friendliness, I think. Ainz is just a nerd who has no friends and wants some friends. And Denji has basically two goals at any point inside of his brain whenever his neuron activates. They are the easiest people to deal with, and there's no consequences to interacting with them. And then to top that off, their pairing is great because one, both of them are immensely overpowered. Ainz literally cannot lose. That's what we discovered watching Overlord. You made fun of me about that plenty. Meanwhile, Denji seems completely unstoppable as well, and probably unkillable, and is now paired with a person who can literally resurrect him, and a person who already has to deal with people who can't make up their own damn minds about anything and has to tell everybody what to do. And Denji already is used to just following orders and not caring about anything else. These two are already a perfect team. They are immensely overpowered, and together we'll just rule the world. I'm down with it.
So you're going Team Chainsaw Lord. I
I'm
feel
going with
like
Team Chainsaw Lord because I'm gonna just crush everything. It's gonna be great.
I feel like you've already forgotten that Ainz goes through periods of evil. He wants to kill all humans. And remind me again, which species do you belong to?
Hold up. Ah, yes, I'm a skeleton, Batman. Aha.
Let's hope you never have to, I don't know, eat or shower or,
What are
anything.
you talking about, Batman? They eat all the time in the show. They have a lunch hall.
Yeah, but they don't have to hide their face when they're eating. So you're the one with the problem. I think
Half of them
Denji,
have. No, one
Denji,
of them.
Denji can get away with it because he's half demon. He's not even full human. You, on the other hand, are gonna have a problem.
Well, ostensibly, I'm going to be teamed with them, and they're not just going to betray me for no reason. In fact, I think Ainz are probably pretty hyped to know that there's another person from the real world around.
Yeah, Ainz isn't
That's
totally in his own show having to deal with people on his side trying to betray him.
that's his main motivation, though. Literally to find other people from his world. That's it.
Yeah, but you're not from his world. I was in fact thinking about this when I was doing that other thing I was telling you about earlier. About if I got like transported to Overlord. How the difficult explanation of, well, okay, you know how you're like from the real world and they're the fake world? Well, one level above that, you are an anime. I'm from the real world. Unfortunately, I came here with no powers. I'm a fucking human. You could kill me.
Yeah, no, like that's always the fun thing to like kind of think about, right? It's like explain to a fictional character that not only are they fictional, but someone also wrote their story to be the saddest possible.
Well,
I think
that's
there's a show about that actually.
yeah, that's not returners, rewriters, something like that.
Something
Anyway,
like that.
it's more confusing when you try to explain it to a character who's already familiar with the concept because they already think they're at the top. Anyway, I'm going a different direction because it's not until that I reread the very beginning bit of the
Uh-huh.
poll that I understood that there's also an element of being on the adventure too.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
my initial pick, and I think I'm probably just gonna stick with it because damn the consequences at this point. I'm going with Team Abyss Saga because I
Ooh.
think it would be the more entertaining one. Not to be on, but to watch. Now, to be on, it's going to be horrible, but what the hell. I'm already in a horrible life anyway, so let's see. Basically, everybody's at human power scale, so there's no superpowered shit to deal with other than what horrors lie beneath. It's basically what if Thorfinn found a giant pit in Denmark and fell in, and boom, we're in the abyss, and Inachi's there to guide us.
So the thing with like that combo is that it's definitely going to be the one where you're going to get the most life lessons very quickly. You're going to have Thorfinn telling you how to give up violence, embrace God in your heart, and everything, and Nanachi's going to be there sassing you the whole time.
Thing is that we posted this poll before season 2 of Vinland Saga.
Ah,
So this
gosh,
was
yeah.
Vengeance Thorfinn. This is the Thorfinn who discovered how to hunt down critters and eat off the land
And it's
while
going to be
plotting his
even
revenge.
funnier.
Well, I mean, you can also have him and Nanachi talking about vengeance on Bondrewd and that kind of shit, and then we only have
Mhm.
one way to go, and that's down, because we can't go up anymore. So, that, or, we have abyss creatures spilling out into the Vinland Saga world if we're, like, perched on the edge of being able to go up and out, or not. Little magical items in Vinland Saga now from whatever the relics of the past were.
Mhm. And I suppose we should give a quick shout out to other teams here too, where the Ed Mob combo would probably be fun because you get to just learn alchemy. You're going to learn magic no matter what if you go
I
on that adventure.
I didn't pick that one because again it's a mixed match. Mob
Hmm.
is all powerful and Ed is just somewhat powerful. So it's like, what can Ed do that Mob can't at this point?
Talk to new people. Sorry, I hit that one on the head too hard.
No, not really, because I mean everybody else in the universe can talk to new people.
Mob can't. That's
All
half the
Mob needs
show.
is anybody. I mean, at the same time, the entire Mob adventure is about learning to be able to talk to people. So you pointedly don't want somebody who's going to talk on your behalf if your adventure is about learning to talk to people.
Imagine that you have to play the Ritsu part. You have to play the mob's brother part. You got to stop him on the bridge while he's going crazy. Theta, how's that going for you?
How's that going for Ed? Ed's
He can
gonna
make a
make a.
wall.
Yeah, and then Mob is going to disintegrate it down to its atomic structure.
Yep.
Ed can't stop Mob. Mob can do anything.
And then our last team here, Gundam Gear. Quick shout out to them. I love the idea that you could like either get superpowers or a giant robot, or maybe both of them at once, and sing in a giant robot. But honestly, if one of us is gonna be there, we're gonna be Saji in the backpack.
The way I see it is probably that the noise invades the Gundam 00 area, as per our previous discussion. And as we all know, the Gundams are going to be useless to the things that pass through matter and turn people into dust, which means that they're going to have to side with the Symphogear users to be able
Hmm.
to protect humanity from this new threat that Scheinberg did not anticipate with all of his planning. It'll be a whole, like, Veda is going to contact the Gundam Meisters with the new allies, some new Meister team, but it's not Meister, it's Symphogear users that have been hiding out. Just another team that Veda didn't tell all the other teams about.
I can only feel slightly sympathetic to Setsuna, who currently is in the middle of like realizing that he can access another dimension, and now one dimension is attacking him, and another one is telling him to sing. It's not going to be a great day for the Stoic. That's all I'm gonna say.
You can already
So
hear sounds from far distances and whatnot, so.
yeah, I mean at least there's a musical
He
motif
doesn't
in
have
Double
to
O a
sing
little
if
bit.
he's in a Gundam.
I find the combination hilarious, which is why I keep coming back to it. But we got our choices, Theta. Now the question is, what did our audience choose?
Overwhelmingly, well, not overwhelmingly, like 55% picked Gundam Gear. Because of course they did, because we put these out on Gundam days. So it's,
We see you nerds. We know what you're thinking.
let's see, I believe it's tied 18% and 18% for Team Full Metal Psycho and Team Over
Chainsaw
Chainsaw
Lord.
Lord. Sorry, the text is so small on my screen. It's so small.
Overstall, yes.
Yeah, and at 9% is Team Abyss Saga. See,
Right.
you see the
Understandably.
clever way that I've done this is that I read the winner first, but I end on what I picked, which is the loser. But it sounds like the winner because I did it last.
You're trying to manipulate the poll. How could you? But let's see what everyone has to say. Up first, we have Dante's Powers, who says, "Ah, yes, Gundam gear. You can now imagine Marina having a Gundam gear. Fantastic. And now Setsuna, with his love of Gundams, will actively try to woo her."
What do you think? Oh, sorry. He's a Marina,
Eh,
and I think you're telling him about Marina Ishmael, not Marina from the Symphogear show. It's like, why would Marina be the one that Setsuna goes for? It's like, oh, he's talking about the one that Marina already is going. I'm sorry, Setsuna is already going for in Gundam. He's not incorporating anything from Symphogear other than the Symphogears.
I mean, think about it. Like, she's already has, like, a musical motif. Why not? Suddenly, she just does a transformation sequence, right? Like I said, I think it's a fun, silly combination in there, but it's definitely not helping Setsuna understand anything.
What's our redheaded guy's name from Symphogear again?
Redheaded guy. It's not gone something. Ah.
The guy whose shoes exploded when he punched something out of the sky.
Good question. I'm not sure. I can't find the name immediately over here.
Well, either way, he would be the Master Asia in this scenario.
No, seemingly no powers, no relation to anything, but he's gonna like 1v1 a Gundam.
He's supposed to have Master Asia.
Alright. With that little bit of silliness, up next we have Fail Fisher, who says, "I'm voting for Team Gundam Gear because Setsuna has this synergy with musicians and singers." It's true. Uh, SRW fans familiar with
Super Robot
SRW's,
Wars, I think.
yeah, familiar with Super Robot Wars Z2 to Z3 and UX know what I'm talking about. Triangular and Seventh Moon, right, guys? This has something to do with later plot development in Double O. My second choice is the Full Metal Psycho team, because I would prefer to be with Edward Elric from the first FMA anime, very different from the manga, instead of Brotherhood, specifically after the Conqueror of Shambhala movie. If a solution to his current predicament could be found during this adventure, it would be a well-earned reward for him. Seiji Mizumi, the director of the first FMA anime, coincidentally also director of Gundam 00, also wants fans to imagine their own ending for this version of Edward.
So, if Gundam 00 takes place in the real world, then the Conqueror of Shambhala leaves them at the beginning of World War One, right?
Yes, I
So
think
that
so.
would technically leave Edward and group in the real world where alchemy doesn't work. So you want those specific characters from the end of this specific movie where they're just powerless humans. And what year does Gundam Double? Oh, sorry, it's Full Metal Psycho. I forgot for a second.
The year
Well,
2000, the distant future.
let's see. If we assume that he might be 16 to 17 well, no. Does he end Conqueror Shambhala at the same age that he does in Brotherhood?
I don't know. I never actually saw the movie.
Let's just be gracious and say that he does. So
Yeah.
16 to 17, year 1920, right? Okay. And then Mob Psycho takes place today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, probably 10 years ago, but let's say 10 years
Yeah.
ago. So
Flip phone era.
1920 to 2013, right?
Mm-hmm.
So about 103 years. You want a 130-year-old Edward Ulrich to meet up with 13-year-old Shigeo?
Hey, he's got to have a mentor somewhere, right?
Once again, pointedly, 130-year-old Edward Ulrich with no powers and just a metal arm and a leg, which probably are not suiting his crippling old body all that well right now.
I like to imagine though, for like if we're doing like post, he loses powers and all that stuff. He's just kind of a fun guy to hang around with at that point. I guess he just becomes mentor to Mob at
Yeah,
that point. That's it.
loads of great to hang out with 130-year-old Ben. Look, if he's not dead by now, I am betting that the his metal body parts have broken. There's no Winry around. I think Winry is left behind. She didn't join them in the Conquer of Shambhala.
Right, right.
At best, it's going to be Envy. I think Envy survives the end of the movie, right?
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie.
I know Envy comes over. You didn't see the movie? Believe Envy comes over. So I think it's Envy who still has powers somehow versus
Still homunculus, right?
versus Mob, right? And I think that's the best combo because Envy is gonna be like shape changing and all the shit that Mob cares about and fucking tricking him. And because he's
Oh
like,
gosh. I didn't even consider the antagonist angles. What's gonna happen?
well, that's what I'm saying. Is Envy? I don't think is gonna age to death. I don't know if the homunculi can, but it doesn't seem in their thing. And then Envy, I believe in the movie, turns into like a giant snake, so they can
Mhm.
apparently still transform. So Envy versus Mob. Ed died 40 to 30 years ago if he didn't die in the war, which seems likely because he seems like, oh, I have knowledge of how to do
Wait,
shit. I'm going to try and apply my things to the war. Clearly, he's going to side with the Germans.
wait,
I don't
Theta,
think
hold up.
that's even a guess at this
Wait,
point.
I got a solution to all of this, to your ancient Ed problem. Mob already has Ghost.
Ghosts
We
tend
can
to.
have Ed at any age.
Well, no, ghosts tend to move on. You don't remember the family that like they got paid to try and get the family out of the house, and they
Look,
didn't
if
even
there's one
care
thing I
that
know about Ed's
they didn't
personality,
even
he doesn't
care
move
that the
on.
family was fine. They're just ghosts, and like, and not to mention the fact that Mob Psycho's world is full of psychic mediums that all they do is try and get rid of ghosts. Ed is
Yeah.
gonna be so gone by the time Mob grows up. He's gonna be long dead, probably in one war, if not the other.
So we got one last comment here, though. Long Hey Long, who says, "So I want a mecha. Can't blame you, man. And I want weaponry on person as well. So Gundam gear. Not sure if I want to join Abyss Saga due to, well, up in person, very dangerous adventures. Full Metal Psycho would go on some neat adventures, though. And I don't want to die for Team Chainsaw Lord, though probably would be the most protected. Kinda.
I would argue that Full Metal Psycho, if we don't take Phil Fisher's version of events into play, would be the most protected, since Mob could just basically heal you from death.
I mean, so can Ainz, right?
I mean, Ainz can resurrect you, but that would also, as we've seen, Ainz resurrecting you is kind of painful. You know, he like if you remember the lizard guy, and he like couldn't remember things for a while either. It's like and also, I'm just probably gonna lord over you how much money it takes to resurrect you versus Mob, who's just gonna do it out of the goodness of his heart, and apparently no setbacks either.
At the same time, eh, I got nothing for it.
Also, Mob, depending, takes place in the current day. If you want to go with our world Mob,
Mhm.
otherwise you have a super powerful person who can make anything, and then Ed in the setback 1800s world, but you have your knowledge of modern technology, which I understand that Ed would not be able to make anything with that, but you could probably say, hey, Mob, you remember TVs? And Mob be like, yeah, TVs! And just fucking make it, because Mob
I
doesn't
don't think
require all of Ed's shit.
I don't think Bob's quite built anything specifically out of nothing before. He's just like put things back together, right?
Well, he sort of has. You remember, like, the field battles and everything, where he, like, ripped all the vines out of the ground and made himself, like, a weed mecha suit?
Yeah, but those were plants which are already exist, and then they just grew
They
in a
were
natural forward direction.
They were dead plants, actually. He made them out of dead plants. So they didn't grow, he just made them.
Nah, we have to go back to that episode. That's been a bit.
He
But I
also
do definitely
contacted
think
aliens.
But I do definitely think, in terms of going on an adventure with these people, yeah, Abyss Saga remains the most deadly, doesn't it? Just from the outset.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. A single axe is probably going to kill you, and you have a young rabbit and a unstable teenager to protect you. Good luck.
Look, here's the thing. I want an adventure. Look, as I said at the beginning, I thought
Mhm.
about it as a thing I'd want to watch, and they are the most equal power sets. So
Uh-huh.
clearly, if I went on the adventure, would I die? Probably. At the same time, I'm not looking at this saying which one of these crossover universes is going to cure my cancer, right? I'm not. That seems like a really weird angle to take it. Oh yeah, I'm going to join the Mob Psycho one because Mob could, just remove the cancer from my body. That'd be a dumb way to go about that. Wouldn't be fun or interesting. I'm
Honestly, I think like
also
if you go to any of these, you could probably get your cancer cured. I
I'm
think
not
straight up, right?
not the one I chose. Also, I'm just saying I'm also not going to assume that the characters of the show are going to do whatever I say. I'm just going to
Yeah,
assume that I'm going to appear there as I am. Like, why would Setsuna listen to me, right? I know
because
Hibiki
you can
might
be the
listen to me.
backpack Theta. That's why you can fly the backpack.
He's already got people for the backpack. I mean,
Just kick Saji's ass. It's fine. He's not that hard, you know.
Hibiki would listen to me, but we already seen how possessive Hibiki gets if you touch Gungnir. So you're not gonna get you're not gonna get the Symphogear powers.
I think in any crossover, you have to assume that a lot of more people are suddenly going to get a bunch of different powers. I think that's just kind of how it goes.
I don't
But
know. I kind of assume it's more like the final countdown, right?
uh,
Where the American aircraft carrier goes back in time to Pearl Harbor. It's not the Japanese just didn't suddenly get modern technology. No, they had to go up against American jets with modern technology. So
gosh,
it's just people showing up with what they had. It is Conqueror of Shambhala, just without the power being erased.
well, there you have it then. So we got our poll out of the way. Theta, how about we go ahead and talk about some Gundam 00?
Before
I believe last time was episode 21. Just to make sure I'm reading the right one there. Door change, where Setsuna and Saji head out to Lagrange 5 to locate Wong and Hong, who survived Nina Trinity's ambush. Nina intercepts the pair and shoots Hong, who sacrifices himself to allow Wong to escape. Wong gives Setsuna the coordinates to Veda. He returns to the Double O Razor, where Mr. Bushido challenges him to a duel, revealing himself to be Graham Acker. Gasp! We never knew this. Theta, did you know?
yeah, sorry, I'm just laughing at your inability to read today.
Sorry.
Don't
Nina
apologize. It's funny. I'm not trying to make fun of you for it. It's
Nina catches up to Wong and kills her, but knowing she would eventually turn on them, Ribbons takes control of Nina's Haro and tells her that someone's coming to deliver judgment on her. Although Nina thinks this person is Ali Alsaces, it is actually Luis who delivers the killing blow on her, finally avenging the deaths of her parents and relatives at the cost of her sanity. During the duel, Graham and Setsuna appear to each other in the GN particle-induced alternate reality, where Setsuna, exhibiting signs of becoming a pure-breed innovator, makes a revelation. Elio Scheinberg created the GN drives and celestial being for the sole purpose of preparing all of humanity for innovation.
so Ford versus Ferrari, huh?
So what?
What? Did you not see that movie?
uh, no, I don't think so.
What's a good movie? I'd recommend it.
But yeah, that's we left off in the middle of some action last time with a couple of complementary duels, if I remember right. And also a lot of other stuff going on that I don't quite remember. Theta, want to fill in some gaps.
Well, I don't know what gaps you need filled in because if you don't remember what the holes are, then I don't know what your holes are. Sounds weird. I'm not gonna make that
All
into a
right,
sound bit.
what do you want to say about the previous episode, real quick? Then
Well, I mean, you just read the recap. I don't
What
have
are your
the.
feelings going into the new one?
I don't know.
Are you excited to see that Graham is actually been Mr. Bushido the entire time?
Here's the bit, Griff. I know you're just trying to prompt me for conversation,
Yeah.
but at these like the very first episodes that we do in any recording, I'm always trying to mitigate the anger that I'm gonna cause our Gundam watching audience by saying shit that they vehemently disagree with me on. So what you see as me problematically trying to not talk to you is me trying to withhold anything that may cause problems down the line.
Right, right. In that case, so we still have like the alternate reality thing going on. The person who's writing all this is pretty certain that the psychic relations everyone is happening is an alternate reality. We still disagree about that, right? We don't think it's an alternate reality, yeah? It's just mindscape.
Hey Griff, I'm trying to not piss off the audience. Hey Theta, what about this take?
Oh, I'm asking you a more specific question.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You're like, hey, the Gundam writers here seem to think this is happening. You probably have an argument. What do you think, Theta? Alright, I'll bite. Yeah, obviously it's not an alternate reality. Obviously it's just like a mindscape thing. Like any time that you see a psychic invading someone's mind, they're always, God, well, there was a show. Oh, Loki. Did you see Loki?
Yeah, I did.
Um, near the end, when, the do we just call her female Loki? I don't know what she have. Did she had a name, right? I can't remember what her name was.
Yes, she does. I don't remember it right now because it's been too long.
Well, either
I
way,
think it was
she.
Sophie, actually. Yeah.
Okay, well, Sophie does that thing where she touches somebody and gets into their memories and whatnot, and she does the whole pretending to be this time agent, whatever they're called, friend
Yeah.
from the past, in one of her past memories to try and get information about what's going on. And they're just
Hmm.
like circling through that past memory. So like the background is from stuff she remembers and whatnot. That's what the mindscape is. Just
Yeah.
hey, here's a location I remember from a time I was here or saw it.
What's been interesting so far about it, at least, is the way everyone else seems to be interacting with it and like slowly grasping what it is. Despite like not being innovators, obviously. If this is all preparation for innovation, it seems most of the rest of the cast kind of already gets it. Or at least,
It's a field. Anybody that's in the field is being, you know, messed
mhm,
with or put into it. It's not so much the innovators are doing thing. I think it was explained that it's the Trans Am system that's
yeah.
causing all these visions with intermingling with each other.
Yeah, once you activate the generators and you get them really pumped up, suddenly people start psychically communicating with each other. Which is a weird and fun bit of sci-fi. I think if we're gonna go back to the Scheinberg plotted this all along stuff, this is actually the thing that makes the most direct sense. He makes a thing, he tells people, alright, here are some plans to make the thing bigger, and then when the thing is big enough, everyone psychically communicates and then problems are solved. That's like a direct line, right?
Yeah, all we had to
And,
do is take the permit field to Earth, and then everybody will be in the link.
yeah, we don't have to do any Zanato's Gambit or anything. Even the fact that like everyone else wants one will make the plan happen. That's actually a good plan.
You're baiting me, Griff,
I know I am.
as we're already in a Xanatos gambit. As much as the as much as the comments disagree, this is a 200-year-old dead man's plan that incorporated everything. And they're like, no, it's Veda. Veda's doing it. Yeah, we'll program Veda. Veda's programming itself. I don't give a shit. It's a Xanatos gambit.
All right,
Xanatos did it while he was alive. Doesn't mean Veda's not doing it while it's not alive.
I got one more piece of bait for you, Veda. And it's just gonna be an image I'm gonna plant in your head. They're gonna go to Veda. They're gonna try like recapturing it. And Scheinberg is gonna get out of his coffin and say hi. And say, I planned this all along. I knew I would meet you.
Scheinberg got Mr. Housed. He's not getting out of his coffin.
It was a fake coffin. That was the decoy one.
I think, God, I don't know who originally said it. I know Raph said it all the time. Where in a world where anything can happen, nothing is interesting, right?
Right. The fewer rules that we get here, the less we can predict and the less engaged for it.
Right. So when you start Bill and Tedding everything, where, oh yeah, I went back in time and I put a cage right above you to fall at just this moment. Oh yeah, well we knew you were gonna do that, so we went back in time and put a key here on the floor so we can get out of the cage. Oh, but I knew you'd do that, so I went back in time and put a decoy key so you wouldn't be able to get out of the cage. It's like, okay, this is kind of funny in the first couple of minutes, but now getting kind of bored and tired.
Well, let's see if we can go ahead and keep you awake for the rest of this, because we're gonna have a bunch of Gundam fights, and that should at least be entertaining. So, I think with that, let's just go ahead and begin. But before we do, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all of that, if you want more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check it out over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below. Join the Discord. Click the link down below. Join the Discord. Click the link down below. Join the Discord. It's the rules of 3, Griff.
Back to the naked universe.
Ancient aliens.
It's all the Alpha Centaurians versus the Beta Centaurians.
Gundam? Stop, damn it.
それが君が得得した極みだというのか。
ソレスタルビーイングが再び。
その折にはぜひとも私に戦う機会を与えていただきたい。
復讐か。
私が求めるのは戦う者のみが到達する極み。
Just another moment of his past we didn't get to see from between exploding in space and getting back to Earth.
That Graham went on this entire arc of self-discovery, meditating under a waterfall. He is adorably weeby.
I feel like, despite all appearances, Gundam 00 should have been twice as long as it was.
I definitely would approve of more.
Well, you know, all the shit that was in manga wasn't explained in the show. Would at least had its day to air. Technically, it's both y'all's fights.
He fights for the future. No, he broke the Gundam sunglasses.
A real man would just jump at his Gundam.
Yeah, it's time to fist fight.
The I won't give you what you want maneuver.
サジ、ルイス・ハレビーの機体は
反応がない。撤退したんだと思う。
そうか。
ありがとう。
何を
Oh, right, Luis is having a breakdown right now at home.
純粋種として覚醒したか。刹那 F 精鋭。それは人類の命運を握る力だ。
Yes, Setsuna is now a new type.
ワン・リューミンからの情報だ。
ベーダが見つかった。
暗号解析終了しました。ポイントは CZ9842R 月の裏側です。ミレイナ、
It was still on the moon. You could have just gone to the moon.
If I recall right, Veda looked like a superstructure, not just an object. Where are you gonna move it?
何もないぜ。
この位置からの天体図を画像に重ねて。はいです。
なんだ、星の位置がずれている。
光学迷彩ね。フェルト、ズレのある距離を算出して。了解。
Enhance.
距離は直径15キロです。
15キロだって。
そこまで覚醒度の物体が
月の裏側にある。
Still smaller than Quiet Zero.
They're just gonna get a space battleship here, aren't they?
ラボの輸送艦より暗号通信です。
But like the one that was floating around Jupiter.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That flashback that we didn't take any time on at all.
They really haven't come back to it 1 second, have they?
Other than the purple and red Haru was there. And that's the one that Nina had, so I guess destroyed now?
Yeah, it's gone. Gone forever. Goodbye, Yoharu.
108機のモビルスーツ。これだけの戦力があれば。
順調。ライセンス文字が艦隊から離れていきましたが。
放っておけ。戦場で好き勝手されてはかなわん。
リボンズからの祈祷命令。ついに彼は覚悟を決めたか。
いいえ、計画通りよ。来たるべきものが迫ってきているから。
ルイス・ハルビー。
Well, she chose the blue pills and not the red ones.
She's not keeping it together. Oh, this is gonna be such a fun little arc.
Little arc. We're so close to the end of the show, Griff.
I know, we have like 2 minutes to spend on it, and then we gotta get back to like the aliens.
大ガンダムまで。
粒子貯蔵タンクをつけたから一定時間の戦闘は可能よ。
よし、急いで搬入するぞ。
はいです。
ワン・リューミンが指定したポイントに艦隊が集結している。
間違いないな。あの場所にベーダがある。
イノベーターの本拠地もな。アローズ艦隊を突破し、ベーダを奪還する。
今までにない激戦になるな。
I anticipate it'll be at least 3 episodes long.
行くよ。僕の戦いをするために。
クロスロード君。
決めたんです。もう迷いません。
私も参加させてもらう。
ソーマ・ピーリス。
私にもそうするだけの理由がある。
She's still got revenge to get.
そうだな。目的は違っても、俺たちはあそこに向かう理由がある。そして、その思いは未来につながっている。俺たちは
Like some sort of, I don't know, spiral. A drill, perhaps.
イノベーターの支配。
I'm not the only one who could possibly have seen Graham's glasses and thought that was the Gurren Lagann.
This is definitely the most Rebel Alliance they felt for a while.
No, they felt more Rebel Alliance when they were in the desert.
イノベーターを狙い撃つ。そして、
Because that was the actual Rebel group.
俺たちは
I think it's been like 10 episodes since then, hasn't it?
未来とは向き合えない。
Feels like it's been more than that anyway.
補給が済み次第、トレミーを発信させるわ。
Apparently,
いいわね。
and comments are hard up on this. You don't say the P. 2 episodes in a row now, people have been jumping on us about it.
The P told me.
That's what we've been saying. We've been told me. Apparently, it's just the told me.
It's the curse of reading everything before you've ever heard it, and now it just stuck forever.
It's the curse of not being Greek. music though.
Yeah, this is a nice little build up for what's gonna happen.
You brought the kids. Into a war zone. It's iron-blooded orphans all over again.
Hey, Star Trek also brings its kids to battle.
クーデター派からの同様の情報が届いている。詳細な戦術プランを添えてな。
配置終了しました。大佐。
ついに審判が下される。
Remind me, is Patrick dead?
として変革した刹那 F 星
Who?
か僕たち
Patrick.
そのどちらかが人類
The
の
immortal
我
Patrick?
決める。それでいい。
Oh. Oh.
Alright, when's the gangbang starting?
Ah, the memes have ruined that shot. It's a good shot, but memes have ruined it now.
死ぬことと見つけたり。生きるために戦え。
Oh, he's actually gonna stab a Gundam now.
武士道とは。
No, I think he was going for seppuku. Before the voices in his head kicked in. The size of the blade would denote the... I did that the wrong way. It's supposed to be sideways. Cut sideways. Turn! And pull up and then somebody decapitates you if you can't. Because it's very painful.
ありがとう、フェルト。
Oh, that's cute.
I'll put it in my helmet.
彼女とはそんな関係じゃない。
Then figure out how to put my helmet on later.
Gosh. Setsuna is such a classic stoic Gundam character. Someone just like, here, give it to this person you clearly have feelings for. He's like, nah, we ain't dating.
何としてもベーダを取り戻す。僕を導いてくれ、ロックオン。
了解。セラビ、ティエリアーレ。
Hey, you didn't repeat it twice. You just have one fucked up Haru.
準備はいいか。ソーマピーリス。
マリーでいい。そう呼びたければそれでいい。しかし私は
分かってるよ。
See, she knows who she's supposed to be, not the character the show tried to make her out to be.
She knows she can be cooler. But this is a nice little just bit of build up. Jazz out to the music, let them all launch.
Well, it's the music is portraying that this is going to be the final showdown.
Absolutely. The vibes are on point here.
心配しないでくれ。僕だって未来を見つけたいんだ。
了解。WO、刹那 F 星へ。出る。
You know, sign said standby, not launch. Brotherly docking!
Oh, we're gonna drive that one to the ground.
スペースシップからガンダムが発進しました。先行部隊攻撃開始。特務君、うまくやれよ。
Yeah, if those are the auxiliaries, then where's the main fleet?
I guess we did have enough build up to just go straight into it, but I'm still a little shocked.
Why, they were launching for this. The build-up was for this. Kaioken!
Well, as it turns out, their forces are still a dime a dozen.
I wish it was at least like one 5-minute segment in some past episode about how hard it is to target ship's weapons or something. I understand that Gundams are really fast and they're hard to target and whatnot. So look, they're even firing at the ship, and their ships are going phew, way off.
I gotta say, they got no right to be missing like that. Gotta suck to beat that guy, the one literally first hit by the giant laser sword. And somehow it's not over.
Again, auxiliaries. Did you already forget that?
アンチフィールドが攻撃に展開されたです。粒子ビームの効力が低下。
罠かよ。
至近距離で展開されなかったら
SFR!
軌道変更、フィールドを脱出して。
思ったより早く対応してね。主力部隊攻撃開始。数で圧倒せよ。
Some of them are carrying packages.
I think they've used them as missile deployment before, right? I mean, they got something crazier.
I mean, I don't know, they're smaller than the things you're talking about.
I do like the bit of a fog of war effect we got going on with the whole particle disruptor.
Yeah, to be fair, Terra's mobile suit is made up of like 5 other mobile suits, so...
Yeah, this is some good Act 2 of the fight, increase the tensions, heroes are losing kind of angle. I like it.
Guess it was. Oh, they've got the GN field penetrating missiles. A more astute viewer could be counting right now, so we know how many of them there are.
Usually, like, there's just a whole lot of noise when it comes to Gundam fights, but, like, this at least feels like we are seeing every single thing that is happening. Yeah, dodge that.
No, it's worked like once. It's worked once in any Gundam series. Otherwise, anybody that flies in front of the bridge window dies.
There's still Marathon forces alive? Did I miscount? Oh, we got the rockin' theme for Act 3 of the fight here. Good.
何カタロンだと奴らの戦力ごとき順序我が方の輸送艦が輸送艦だとニューシリーブが来ます何
Yeah, maybe remember everybody else has super weapons. You don't anymore, apparently.
アローズ艦隊に勧告する我々は決起する悪政を行う連邦の傀儡となったアローズはもはや軍隊ではない世界の行く末は
Yes, the trail.
What's Mannequin?
I know.
市民にその是非を問う
あのメギツネめ叩け奴らは反政府勢力だ了解
And will somebody turn off that radio?
敵部隊が接近してきますモビルスーツ
Look, someone put their mixtape, and it's just on all signals now.
Oh, there he is. Still alive. If you didn't remember who Patrick was.
But, we haven't seen Louise this whole fight. I wonder where she's hanging out.
Ribbon's base. They mentioned that, and then they showed it.
Oh, okay.
敵ともども撃ち落としてしまい味方の兵がいますいいから撃てと中将敵艦がアンチフィールドを突破しましたなんだと
Well, maybe you should have had more anti-GN missiles. Yeah, not much you could do in that scenario.
It's funny to see him try to run away, but how long has that character been in the series? Like, since the, beginning of this entire season, right?
Yeah, he brought the kids to the fight.
You get to see all the candles. Blow them out, kids.
アローズ艦隊は突破されるか。人類はよほど戦いが好きと見える。
そう仕向けたのは君の方じゃないのかい？彼らをここまで導いた。
それは君の願いでもあったはずだ。
何？
言っただろ。僕は君たちの上位種に当たる。
Didn't I know you betrayed me? So?
At least 3 times already?
野心にとらわれた君の考えは納涼支配を通して僕に筒抜けなんだ。残念だったね、リジェネレジェッタ。
Alright, quick draw. Let's do it. Who fires first? Yeah!
Maybe you forgot there's a room full of him.
I know there is, but at the same time, it just worked. It's hilarious.
Because he doesn't care.
人類を導くのはこの僕。リジェネレジェッタだ。
There he is, in the next time on.
立ち向かうマイスターたちに勝機はあるか。次回、命の花。先行の数だけ命が消える。
It would, wouldn't it? Since that's the number of shots being fired? The number of
You could
flashes
definitely fire
mimics
more in this universe.
Well, no. I mean, technically, I guess you could fire through a person, hit another person. But give or take, the number of misses versus the number of hits, it still would be the number of flashes, i.e. the number of shots, would mirror the number of dead.
Still, that was a good shot in the last second twist there, right? I still enjoyed that. I did not expect her to, come in, actually win the quick draw, and then just announce, yeah, I'm in charge now.
She didn't win the quick draw.
I mean, Ribbons was like, I knew about it the whole time. There's no reason why he couldn't have prepared. I was expecting it even. I was expecting Ribbons to say, yeah, I knew you came here with treacherous thoughts. That's why I brought this gun and I'm shooting you right now.
She didn't win the quick draw. They didn't win the quick draw because there was no quick draw. One of them pulled a gun. The other one did nothing to defend themselves.
Right. That's what came as a shock to me, that Ribbons did not even try. But I guess he has a clone army, so it's all good for him.
I mean, it's right up there with Scheinberg did not try to create immortality, right? Mm-hmm. Smartest man on the planet can invent shit that, defies physics. Couldn't defy age, right? Well, no point. If you're Xanatos gambiting your way through life.
But you see, Ribbons is carrying on Scheinberg's legacy, because him dying was all part of the plan, actually, all along.
Well, before we saw in this episode a room full of purple-haired guys behind him, we had previously seen, I think near at the end of season 1, a room full of hymns. So, don't need to defend yourself when you're not worried about dying.
True, true. Like you said, maybe he is truly immortal. Maybe he's like brainwaving himself into people now,
Just to
into his clones.
clarify, you just said, like you just said, a thing I've never said. I didn't say he was immortal. Like you just said, Griff. Maybe the Nazis won. What? I didn't say that.
Like you said, the Martians, you can't trust them here.
Like you just said, Griff, this show sucks. Why did you say that, Griff?
So, but that's like a very tiny bit of the episode here. The biggest part was our little Rebel Alliance last strike here, which I think the vibes and storytelling of it all was actually very on point. We covered like everyone having their own desire to actually be here and do things, and not just being told by Veda to be there or something, which is where they started out. They all have their own reasoning. They know about each other, confirmed like their relations. And the show actually put them into a slight bit of a struggle. It's still Gundam. They're still gonna win, but they did have us going in the first half. I
The
think they did a
biggest,
good job showing that this is not a simple thing that they are
the
doing.
biggest portion of the show was the Gundam fight, not all the
Yeah.
things that you just said. It was a one big fight with
Mhm.
bookends about talking about the fight and why we're heading there and what we expect to be
Mhm.
there. Fight! End of fight.
Yeah,
That was
I collapsed that all together. I considered it the same thing because it's
not
all going to the same
not
thing.
the same thing. One drives narrative and informs the audience. The other is a spectacle for the show. Or I guess spectacle for the eyes. This is like I say
Right.
why I keep saying I prefer Witch from Mercury, in that it's a narrative, it's a character
Mhm.
narrative show, in that they have Gundam fights still. Preferably, the best ones take place in a God, what would I say? In a manner that Graham would have liked, let's say, where it's physical objects being moved in a way that you can see them, like the
Yeah.
Rurouni Kenshin fights that you might sometimes enjoy, or the I guess I almost want to say Naruto, but like when Naruto was new and not when Naruto started just like, oh, now we can. You never know when someone's gonna turn into a log. You know, the fights where you saw people like move like, their fists, like physically coming and moving and dodging and then coming back at one another, where it wasn't all just Dragon Ball Z level ha 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 things. That's what.
Right. No
Don't
smear
wait,
effect.
Griff. Don't interrupt yet. That's where Gundam space battles fall for me constantly. Is that they are or at least the aught era Gundam space battles, probably before. We have to get to that eventually. Are Dragon Ball Z level fight affairs. You don't see the person shooting and the person dodging or being hit in the same shot. It's a person shoots and then a person explodes in a separate shot, or vice versa. Or now we have Trans Am, where it's literally the hand-to-hand fights are Dragon Ball Z level because they can just vanish and disappear and reappear somewhere else. It's just not. I'm gonna put it out there for the people to hate me. I do not enjoy the space battles all that much.
At the same time, I would still put this as one of the better space battles that we have right here. There was a lot going on, but it didn't necessarily all feel like filler. In terms of visual spectacle, I think I got what I wanted out of it. I think it portrayed everything properly, gave a good pace of it. It had a 3-act structure even to the entire fight, which I kind of assembled on the fly, but it worked out. If I had to say though, if we go with like what does the fight mean for the characters, it doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. It's plot based. Uh if I had to forcefully extract something though, I would call it the payoff. If I had to forcefully extract a meaning to the fight, it's the payoff for everyone in their relationships and just re-demonstrating, yes, that's right. The Gundam Meisters are a team that all work together and know each other perfectly, and that's why the plan succeeds.
Most of the time, the fights don't have any narrative purpose other than A, did they win, or B, did they lose. The only important fights are like a new return, right? We're in a fight, And obstinately, it's an A-B fight, right? Do they win? Do they lose? This fight doesn't matter. Otherwise, to move the narrative forwards. And then, boom, Setsuna comes running through, blasts in Trans Am, so that we all get these internal monologue visions, and suddenly narrative is happening again. And then Setsuna fucking kills Anu, which then also progresses the plot. That is a space battle with plot. Most of this was just tactics, I guess. Tactics are interesting. Like when they do the, okay, we're moving the auxiliary fleet here as a trap, you attach them, now it's an explosion field thing, and now you have to deal with that, now we're sending our forces in, but haha, you didn't understand that the rebel forces were circling around behind you. That is interesting. I'm not saying this was a bad space battle. What I am saying is, all too often,
it's not a meaningful one.
All too often the show fills time with space battles that are just, did we win or did we lose? And that's just basically like if two characters said, I don't like you anymore, I'm leaving. Or, I can deal with this and I'll stay. Just a minute conversation could have been had if you were just writing a narrative. And in the narrative space battles, it just doesn't tend to matter. And I'm not glued in on the spectacle, right? I don't watch WWE, let's say, right? And I think at the end of the day, the WWE, if you're watching wrestling, the actual wrestling that takes place is just to fill time between the narrative plots that are happening between the wrestlers backstage. That's what the battles are in Gundam to me. The big space battles where you have to keep track of where 17 different Gundams are and what they're fighting. And they're not really going to get hurt most of the time. So, I don't know. I guess it's
I would say
the disbelief never really falls for me.
I would say I'm okay with like less meaning or importance on this particular fight, because they've already established that there's supposed to be a bigger one to come anyway, which is where I expect everything to happen and to have like more direct, important meaning to our characters, and for Setsuna to wrap up like whatever little rivalry he has going on with Ribbons here.
Well,
And for that to like rock into like the wider everyone becomes an innovator thing.
A smaller fight, not a bigger one.
A more meaningful one is what I mean.
Yeah, but it would be a physically smaller one because those were the Earth forces, the final Earth forces that were left falling apart right there. Whereas we know Ribbons only has whatever innovators that he has left, which we saw was like 4 to 5 things flying back to his base. Now we know he has a bunch of people at the base, but we don't know if they have suits or if those are just people on the ground or...
I would say I almost think the innovators would be more successful without Gundams.
I've pitched a number of times how I would like to see a Gundam show with no Gundams in it.
You just want a political thriller. Come on. You know what? I got a series for you. It's called Metal Gear Solid.
I've watched playthroughs of all of Metal Gear Solid. But no, I'm not talking about a political... I'm not talking about a political thriller. I'm talking about a Gundam show set in... a Gundam without Gundams would be a show set in the Gundam universe, not having anything to do with the Gundams themselves. Right?
I want a Pokemon series that doesn't involve any Pokemon.
Well, no, imagine if we had a show in, like, 12 episodes, say, set in the Carthon base in the desert, right? What are they doing out there? How are they interacting with the government forces around them? What is their mission in that localized base, right? All the character interaction, all the politics, all the military fighting, right? Just none of the Gundams. We have no immortal people. Nobody is set to be the main character, right? We just have an ensemble piece of a bunch of people who are no more protected than any bad guy has ever been in a Gundam show.
I would say the good idea of your pitch here is, so you know how they tried to set up like the sort of angel allegory here, or not allegory, metaphor, I forget what the word is. Damn it.
Visual representation.
Visual for the Gundams, right? That's why Setsuna is like, oh yeah, I want to become a Meister and stuff.
For the 00.
Yeah, for the 00. You could do that with a miniseries. You could have like a 4 to 12 episode miniseries, and it ends with the characters getting that kind of perspective or revelation for the Gundams and raising their importance. Bam, there you go. That's how you sell it.
Well, I mean, I don't think I have to sell it so much because I believe the thing I'm describing, sort of the thing I'm describing, is what the origin is supposed to be. Because I think the origin takes place before Gundams exist. So you get like a bunch of tanks and everything, and it's set in a Gundam world, right? Or not, it's set in a setting that the Gundam thing is set in. It just takes place before Gundams. So you still get all the factions, all the characters, and everything like that. The one thing you don't get is Gundams. So that's what I'm looking forward to the origin, because I think it's everything I've been asking for, a Gundam show without Gundams.
Well, we'll just have to get to that. So, Theta, anything else for today?
Remember that I do like this show.
You heard it here first, everyone.
No, you
Theta
heard it
likes
before.
the show.
Heard it before when I said it before. Every time people think all I'm doing is shitting on it. You can like a thing. I think if you have critiques about a show, it just indicates that you enjoy it more than if all you do is just say good things, right?
You wouldn't critique it if you didn't care.
Right. Just keep that in mind, Griff. Keep that in mind, Griff. Maybe not even just about the show, Griff. Maybe not even just about the show.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for here for today, everybody. This has been Stoneface Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?